Hey, that's me. I'm John, and my friend Tyler, he's filming me saying goodbye to my son. Because I'm getting ready to go and run my first marathon. And here I am, calling my friend who's gonna run with me. I'm telling him that the park is closed for deer hunting season.
It's 6 p.m. at the gate, and they're like, only can come back here if you're hunting. And I was like, well, what if we run? They're like, you'll get shot.
I guess that's what happens when you make a spontaneous decision to run a marathon, film a documentary, and start a fundraiser. All on extremely short notice. So how'd this happen? In 2020, I was planning on running my first marathon in the fall. But due to pandemic restrictions, every race got canceled in the area. During quarantine, I basically stopped exercising and I quit running. I stayed at home and I watched the world turn upside down. During quarantine, I started to feel really helpless. So I called up a guy named Neal, and I asked him if I could make a short film about him and the work that he was doing. My first video jobs are volunteer work done at events he organized for the community called Family Engagement Night. Shortly after I filmed Neal, I made a video called Hustle Culture. Something worse than the virus impacted the country.
Before he's saying now, the grave. I'm saying it for him. Get your knee off of me!
After the murder of George Floyd, I was left feeling helpless again. So I grabbed my camera and went to a demonstration in the city that I live in. However wonderful it was to see everyone and to feel the energy of the movement, I still felt like I wasn't doing enough. So on a random Tuesday in September, I realized I could just run my own marathon. So I texted a friend and said, hey, do you want to run a marathon with me? We can do it in the woods on this 4-mile loop. We can just do 7 loops. He agreed, and then I decided this marathon, we should film it. And then we should also have a fundraiser for Neal and the people that he serves. So I called Neal and I asked him if I could interview him for a film. And then I asked people on Instagram and YouTube if they'd like to run with me and help me raise some money. I said I was going to document the whole thing, and this is that film.
So today, I'm running for you, Neal.
See ya. I got it. I thought I did.
I had no idea that you were doing this much. I thought we were just going to talk and you were going to have your
action.
Like, I thought you were going to have your cell phone with you or something.
Did you really?
Right, that's my perception of what this was going to be.
Oh, my apologies. I'm a bit of an extremist.
I can't imagine.
Alexis, we can roll this.
There's literally a river from all the raining that is flooding the trail, so we're walking through bush. To get somewhere a little more dry.
So I was in church ministry and I was looking for opportunities to be able to serve the people that are the most marginalized. But in the American church right now, it seems like, you know, you're there serving the full service church, which meant that the people who were coming to church expected you to take care of them when they literally had everything. And so the directive is to love your neighbor as yourself, which means, you know, if my child is cold and they need a coat, I need to take it as seriously about the kid that lives at 42nd Post if he's got a coat on and that he's not hungry as much as my own children.
Oh, John, let me get you this GoPro. Freak didn't really think about passing. Yeah, I'm just trying to get this camera to John real quick.
Okay.
There we go. Now I'm gonna just that top red button when you want to hit record.
We created what we called family engagement nights. And the family engagement nights were where families could come. We would do 6-week classes with those families, and it's intergenerational. So think, you know, for one of our classes, our cooking class, we had a 2nd grader, mother, grandmother, and great-grandmother all doing a class together. And so these 6-week classes happened 4 times a year. and they give our families choices. We've offered over 70 different classes, and so each session we were doing about 16 classes to choose from. So let's say a family could come in at 5:30, take a karate class together, have dinner, and our community partners were, like Chef Suzanne Catering has now donated over 16,000 meals to our family engagement night program.
Wow.
So we would sit down at a meal, and not just like something you eat quickly, like a school lunch kind of program. These were great meals, and we would have seconds. And you're sitting down and having truly a community meal where you have our Latino families and our African American families sitting down and having dinner together, and their kids are playing together. Our teachers can come in, have dinner with our families, the community partners. It's that equalizer where we're all sitting down together and being together as a community. If you don't see the transformation of the message, if what you're saying is not true, and you can't prove that what you're saying is true, then is the whole message bankrupt? And I don't have an answer. So I can't be in a church position. I can't go past your church because I don't have the answers, right?
Yeah.
This racism has existed in the world entirely too long, and it's time that we make a serious change. And it's not prayer, it's not peace talks, it's changing laws and legislation. It's voting old, racist, systemic people out of office and moving these young, fresh, beautiful minds in. That's how we change the world. We got these young people out here all speaking the truth and all want to be heard. And it's time that we change these laws so everybody can live free, because every human being deserves a shot at life and not to live in fear every day he wakes up.
The other day, one of our families needed a change of residency, and they don't have a vehicle. So they live the 42nd Post area. When they're working to get up into the Castleton area, they have to get on a bus at 8:30 to be at work at 10:30. And so they needed to be able to figure out how to get to school to have proof of residency. They moved, and so I was able to go pick them up, bring them to school, get that accomplished, and get them to school. But she was telling me, because she works in the service industry, that even though the restaurant's open, they're still only open at 50% capacity. So by definition, they all are being, there's less money to earn because they've got fewer customers. Because literally, and so the question is, are you getting 50% of the pay you used to get doing the same job? And so even though families are back to work, their money is still not able to keep up with things, let alone go do the back pay. So we're seeing more families. I showed up at a house today to take a family food, and the U-Haul truck was there because they weren't going to be able to stay where they lived any longer, and they didn't know where they were going. And so I asked them, well, where are you guys moving to? Because I talked with them earlier. They were talking about moving out of the state or something, and they said, we don't know. So how do you look in the face, of these 3 children? They said, we don't know where we're going. And the U-Haul truck, it's not like the U-Haul truck's coming in a week. The U-Haul truck's right there in the driveway, and they're saying to me they don't know where they're going to be that night, or where they're going to move to.
As you're dropping off their
As I'm dropping off food for the kids.
Drop to my knees, God keep me strong. This world is crazy, losing my mind. Is this 2020 or 1969? Woo! Going backwards, can't get in. Every time I watch the news, another black man says, speak up, we gotta call out the wrong. We won't rest until Trayvon can make it home. Who knows how much more we can take? I can't take no more. You see these tear stains on my face. Keep sticking to
You got it, Molly? Yes. No. This stuff for our guy.
No, you put your end down.
Really? Yeah, no, hold it up. And
Oh, yeah.
you ain't going to back out your hands.
Let's hope it doesn't break.
Put it on the log. Oh. Okay.
It's beautiful. The scene is beautiful. I see a mixed group of people coming together, all for the same reason, the same cause, all in love. It's sad that George Floyd had to pass, but how many people have we lost? This, like I said, this is a story we repeat every single year. At what point are you gonna treat us as free people and recognize us as part of America? Because everybody else that comes from all over the world, they come to America, they're welcome. But not the people that built this country on their backs. We're not welcome here.
That's right.
The country was built on our backs.
Slave labor. Facts.
Slave labor. I just want change. I love everybody. I got a son, and I want him to have a better future.
Right.
Thank you, brother. Thank you so much for saying that.
Yeah, that was good, brother.
Hold on. There we go.
Nice.
For a lot of our kids that come with a lot of life trauma, high, what's called A scores, adverse childhood experiences, academics is really hard. And so we need to figure out how we can best educate these kids. But education is so important, but they come with all these non-academic needs. And unless you meet these non-academic needs, we're never going to be academically successful. And so Communities in School model says, how do we meet these non-academic needs without wearing our teachers and our school administration out? And the answer is, we look at our community around us and say, what are our needs and what are our assets, and try to bring those things together where we look at the school as a community center or like a hub.
She was a mentally ill mother of 3, killed in front of her children on the east side in 2019. We've also worked with Keyshawn Stewart. Say Keyshawn Stewart. We've also worked with Aaron Bailey's family. Say Aaron Bailey. And these are just a few of the names, right? There are much more. There are people we don't even know about. So it's difficult, right? It's difficult to wake up and find out that there's another black person who's been killed by the people who have been charged with protecting us. It's difficult to get transparency from IMPD, right? It's difficult to get white people and black people who are not engaged, majority white people, to keep going. You know, when something's not big, when there's not a George Floyd in Minnesota, when there's not a bank on fire or a trash can on fire, it's hard to get people engaged. It's hard to keep people engaged, right? We've been doing this work for 6 years.
That if they choose an area to be able to learn and understand how it is that I become good at something, then that's a transferable skill. So we want to give kids and families an opportunity, because one of the keys here is I need somebody to come alongside of me. If I'm going to truly be successful in something, it helps to have people alongside of me, whether that's a parent, you know, it could be like a Big Brother through Big Brothers and Big Sisters program, it could be a mentor, it could be somebody coming alongside of me who's now saying, we value this, we want to do this together.
So basically at our old neighborhood, my dad couldn't really jog, well he could jog around the neighborhood, but whenever he would do it, the next day he wouldn't be able to really walk, he would be in so much pain. And here he is to this day, he just ran 26.2 miles, and in a couple months he's going to do 100, so, or that it could be in a couple of years.
Yeah, the only thing I wanted to ask you was about leaving ministry and doing what you do, and you were just going to answer that.
That's a tragic story.
Is it?
You want to talk about that just for a second, just so like
Not on film. My family won't even ask that question. Isn't that incredible? Nobody will ask the question. what do you believe in, or what's your faith?
Well, I'm going to ask what your faith is. I think that's
I'm
probably
intrigued.
overly abundant. You know, what your faith is.
Well, but since the kind of camera is rolling, what I can say is I couldn't find opportunities when I was in the church to help the most marginalized. And I couldn't find those opportunities with being in a position of service in the church, being a pastor in the church. And so I felt like I had to go find those opportunities to do what I was called to do. Love my neighbor. It's that simple. And so for me to be able to then be here at the school in my own neighborhood, to be able to serve the hurts of my own neighborhood, this became an opportunity to do all that. And a beautiful opportunity, because these are our kids, right? Again, these are our kids. So how hard is it to take care of your own kids? And if you think they're all our kids, you take care of them.
Oh,
Hard answer, huh?
I love you, Mr. Gore.
I know, you are incredible.
Thank you, Neal, for doing what you do. I watched John's video about you, and you're doing amazing work. We need more people like you in the world, so keep up the good work, and I'll try to carry that message into what I'm doing as well. So.
Getting it done. That was for you, Neal. Whew. And good job, John.